The big issue here is a hyper-processed food. The food industry wants you to keep on eating that hyper-processed food with a lots of sugar and fat, very little fiber in it. And then, of course, you get this problem with obesity and not nutrient enough food to be a healthy person.
You're listening to the All-In Wellness Approach podcast.
This is your wellness, your life. So just one question.
Are you ready to go all in?
Okay, guys, it's Aubrey. This is your All-In Wellness Approach. On the show today is my brother, Kenneth. He is my older brother that I did not know I had until I was about 6 years old. We were both raised in very different environments. He was born in the U.S., but was raised in Norway and still resides there. And I was born and raised here in the U.S. Those two different environments quietly shape how people move, eat, rest, and live every single day without anyone ever calling it wellness over there. Whereas in the US, we have to actively work at our wellness culture. Word to the wise, this is not a debate. It's not a comparison or a scorecard. This is not a battle of the countries. It's a sibling conversation about what happens when wellness is built into daily life instead of something you're constantly trying to manage. So Kenneth, you live in Norway. You have a home in the US, which is where we're at in lovely Pompano Beach, Florida. I found out when I was 6 that I had an older brother. Will you share your version of what your story is when you found out you had a younger sister?
Yeah. Well, my mother lived in Michigan, and she took me back to Norway when I was about 1 year old. She said that she was going home for the holidays, and she never returned to Michigan. So I grew up with my single mother. When I was 15, the phone rang, and it was our dad inviting me over for the summer. My mother told me not to go, but he paid for the ticket and everything, so I met him for the first time then. It was a huge thing for a young boy from Norway. Yeah. And he introduced me for your mother. After a few months, he called me. I went back to Norway again, and he called me later and told me that they were pregnant with you.
With me.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that you met Dad before I was born. And then the next time you came was when I was like, I guess that'd be 7 years later. So I was about 6.
Right.
You were with my sister-in-law, Therese. And that's the first time I met you. So I remember when I was younger, I'd whine to my mom, I want a baby brother, I want a baby sister, I want somebody to play with, and she's like, no, no, no. And one day she came to me and she was like, well, you've been wanting a sibling, you have an older brother. And my tiny brain, the math wouldn't math. How do I have an older brother when I've never met him? And I never really fully understood, but as soon as you came to visit, I was just starry-eyed. You were so tall already, and I was so little. You put me on your shoulders. We went to the circus. We rode the elephant. I remember so many core memories with you. And I think there was that time, and then you visited one more time when I was maybe 12. A few years later, you already had Leander. And then after that, you were pregnant with Emmy. So I've got 2 nieces and a nephew by you, which they're just fantastic kids. And they're not even kids anymore. They're adults. And then thank God for social media, because when I got into end of high school, beginning of college, we were able to more easily communicate and connect over Facebook.
It was that the thing before Facebook. What's that name again?
MySpace?
Yeah,
Oh,
MySpace.
Who remembers MySpace?
Yes.
Now we're just aging ourselves. But yeah, I mean, I guess for me after that, as an adult meeting you, I'm so intrigued by cultural differences. So much is different in our worlds.
And I share that with you because it was a lot of talk between Terry and also our dad about the differences between our two cultures. He came to Norway to try to look for me and my mother, and he met my granddad. As our father told me, he was very direct and showed him the door and never come back or something. If you show up again, I will call the police. He told me that he got very scared then as a young man, and instead, he went for a trip experiencing the whole of Norway.
When Blaine and I came to visit you for the first time, and I studied some of the differences, and one thing that stuck out to me is one of the conversation pieces in the US when you first meet somebody is, hi, what's your name? What do you do for a living? Is the question. Whereas that's not appropriate. You guys don't care what you guys do for a living right off the bat. You care more, where are you going today? But for the sake of this interview, I'm going to ask, what do you do for a living?
I work as a police officer.
You deal with a
Yeah.
lot of kids.
Yes, yeah. So let me take you back when I started in the police 20 years ago. I was working like a regular detective and patrol officer. The parents of a 13-year-old, they came to me and said that, oh, we're having trouble with our son. Can you please talk to him? And before I had the time to do that, he stole a car and had a fatal accident with that car. So that influenced me to specialize in juvenile crime, and now I'm the senior field specialist of juvenile crime.
How physical is your job?
It's not that physical now. This is a senior position. What I do is I gather information about the juveniles' interaction with the police, and then I find out how to handle these cases, both on an individual and on a macro type of level. Even, in fact, up to the Minister of Justice asks us how new laws should be implemented and advisory around juvenile crime.
In a senior position, then it's probably pretty heavily a desk job, right? How does that affect your daily movement? You and Therese have done a beautiful job raising the kids in terms of being very active. You guys hike and ski. Like, you
Right.
guys are highly active and clearly in great shape for your age.
Thank you.
So now that you have the senior position and a desk job, how do you get exercise?
Yeah. I also use gyms, not at the moment, but I've been living different places and had different positions. So at the moment, we have a gym at work. I do the CrossFit with the fire department.
You're allowed to work out with the fire department.
It's a big focus to keep in shape. So we get 1 to 2 hours off every week to exercise together, usually with an run like intervals or just a long run, maybe 5 miles or something.
So 1 to 2 times a week is intentionally doing some sort of gym exercise.
Right.
Then how are you so fit? Because if I only went to the gym 1 to 2 times a week, I would not look like you or the kids or Therese.
It's a thing to do a lot of more movement on a daily life. To get to work, for instance, I can run, I can use a bike, or even do like public transport if the weather is really bad. And this is the most common thing, and it's really looked up to use a bike to work or run to work.
I remember
Yeah.
when we made our trip in Norway back to Oslo, which is where kind of your main home is. I thought it was the funniest thing. They called it the Tour de Finance instead of the Tour de
Right,
France.
you remember that?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the finance district, with the really high-paid jobs.
They
Yeah,
encourage them and incentivize them to ride their bikes to their
work.
business. And do they provide like locker rooms to change and all of that at their?
It's all of that, and also a garage for the bike.
Yeah.
So that's what I have been doing for many years now. They limit the car parking spaces, and instead they install bike garages, and they also limit lanes for cars, bigger, wider bike lanes, and making it more attractive to commute with a bike. But I want to emphasize on how it's really looked up to always to exercise to and from work, because then when you show up at work, you're really fresh and ready to work when you have this light exercise
Get your
before.
blood pumping.
Right. Yes.
You have what we would coin here the 9 to 5 type of job, Monday through Friday. What time do you start work? What time do you finish work?
8 to 3:30.
And then I remember you told me a little earlier talking that if you get to a point where you've been staring at your screen, you can just get up and go for a walk.
Yes.
Which blows my mind.
That's quite cool. Yeah. That's if you the focus is to be productive, I mean, not to be glued to your desk, but how productive you are. Of course, you have goals and you have to cooperate and have a clear mind. But typically, if it's 10 o'clock and you've been sitting, working intensely and concentrating from 8 to 10, it's quite regular and normal to take a walk outside to clear your mind.
Yeah.
You ask me, oh, you have to find your boss and ask if you can do it. No, of course not. You just mention it to your colleague. If someone come looking for you, where's Kenneth? I think he went outside to fresh his mind.
So our infrastructure in the U.S., for example, we're based in Texas. You visited Longview before. We have bike trails, but you're driving your bike in your car to the bike trail, getting your bike out of the car to then bike the trail. There's no biking to the bike trail. It's because our infrastructure is not built. We don't have sidewalks where it would make sense if we could, have a warm up to jog to your workout class at your gym. There are some locations in the US, like a lot of walking transit for New York, Boston area. Universities are really good at that. But what do we do in our locations where we have to be so actively mindful of getting our daily exercise in, and transitioning into that with food and stuff? Our weeks for work, for example, Blaine and I, we pay for it, we plan it, and we prep it. If we want to live in our healthy lifestyle, I'm paying for a meal prepping service because we're working a ton. I'm planning out my days in terms of when I fly and when I'm home to actually go to these gyms that I'm also paying for. And I'm preparing the week to know when I can squeeze in my workout. So it can be exhausting and quite honestly paralyzing, which is why you see a lot of obesity in the US. Our system needs improvement, very much so when it comes to a healthy lifestyle. So in the US, health is framed largely as personal responsibility and choice. From your perspective, how is that conversation different in Norway? So we talked about how you can get movement to and from work. What do you guys do as a family?
It starts already with the small children, because after a year maternity leave, the child then starts in kindergarten, and that's subsidized, so it costs $150 a month for the kindergarten.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to go back to work
So you guys
for the mother.
You guys have maternity, paternity leave for 1 whole year. Both of you can be home with your kid for a year, paid.
You have to divide it. It's 1 full year, either for the mother or the father. And then I go to the kindergarten, and it's a huge focus to be outdoors in the kindergarten. Always at least 2-3 hours outdoors every day in the kindergarten.
When you're saying kindergarten, though, that's when they're 1-year-old, correct?
Yeah.
So kindergarten
They even
to you
sleep
is
outside. That's normal. They have their midday nap outside in a stroller.
Just to clarify, kindergarten to you guys would be our preschool or daycare, because our kindergarten doesn't start till they're 5.
Yeah. And let's take, for instance, the clothing. I mean, all kinds of types of clothing for winter, for rain, and it's no excuse to not being outside if the weather is bad. There's a saying, there is no such thing as bad weather. It's only bad clothing. They are taught from an early age to be outside and play and being active. And also they go on field trips, like the preschool, take the kids to go skiing, to go hiking in the woods.
So what age do the kids start to walk by themselves to school? Because they all commute, usually probably on foot, I'm assuming.
They start at school when they're 5 or 6. You're heavily emphasized by the school and the parents group. No car to school, because what we know about cars around schools is that when parents drive their kids to school, often they are stressed because they're late for work and everything.
Yeah.
So they are causing traffic issues, dangerous driving and everything around the schools. So it's much safer for the kids to walk. Usually the schools are about a mile or 2 from kids' home. So they walk up until 2.5 miles, and then they get paid to take the public transport by the county city.
Do your kids take a lunch to school, or does the school provide lunch, or both?
It's very uncommon that they provide any lunch at school.
Really?
It's a tradition to always bring a lunchbox to school and also to work. And I remember the sheriff, when I started working, he was always bringing this packed lunch with 5 slices of multigrain bread with only Swiss cheese.
That's it?
Yes,
Just cheese and bread.
he was not very
Healthy.
refined, but it was quite healthy because it's like a really dense multigrain bread, not that soft sandwich type that's
Yeah.
common here.
We'll definitely get to the bread story for sure. What's a normal lunch like you would pack your kids?
That's bread with cheese or meat on it, liver paste.
What is liver paste?
Liver paste? Never heard of it?
No.
Pate? Okay, liver pate.
Oh, that sounds
Okay.
fancy. No, that
Uh,
sounds disgusting. I wouldn't try
That's
it.
very healthy. Oh, yes. Lots of iron and vitamins in it.
Do they sell it over here? I've never seen.
Yeah, I think so. Have
Okay.
you never eaten liver?
Are you gonna make me try it?
Yes.
Okay. Oh God. You've opened my eyes up to a lot of really cool foods over in Norway, which we've brought back to the US. But one of my favorite food stories from when I was little, and this still blows my mind, and I feel like you kind of giggle when I bring it up, but the Oreo story. I don't remember if it was the first or the second visit, but I just remember you tasted American Oreos and you were obsessed, and you bought what looked to me like you bought a hollow suitcase and you bought like hundreds of dollars of Oreos and you shipped them over to Norway. And I never really understood until I asked you finally as an adult. I'm like, are you still obsessed with Oreos? And you told me that they were contraband cookies. So let's explain why you wanted US Oreos in Norway.
You couldn't get Oreos at all in Norway. But in fact, I lived not far away from the main NATO base, and they had a lot of American personnel there. So the supermarket, they were importing sort of parallel import. I don't know how they did it. This
they could bring in a small amount of American-made food.
He actually had some Oreos,
Okay.
but it was very secretive. And I asked him, why can't we get Oreos? And he told me, no, because it's added vitamins, and that's illegal in Norway. So don't tell anyone I have American cookies hidden under the desk.
I see why you were in juvenile policing, because you were the bad kid with contraband cookies.
Yeah.
Since we're on that subject, though, one of the most intriguing parts of our cultural differences that I love learning is the food and the choices and how you guys eat over there. The amount of fish blows my mind. I have gotten better since visiting you on my fish consumption, I guess.
Mackerel in tomato. Did you like that?
I don't remember. You fed me a lot of weird things when I was in Norway.
That's also a very healthy choice, eating mackerel in tomato.
Like
a bread spread.
Was it cold? Did we have it at breakfast?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
There's a lot of fish at breakfast.
But we actually had to make a complaint at school, because when our kids had mackerel in tomato on top of their beds, some other kids started bullying them because it smells, it smells.
You guys had the fishy smelling kids at school. But now they have 6-pack abs as young adults because they're friggin' ripped. Well, the other thing was the bread too. One of my most favorite recipes and one of the most special nights we shared at your house in Oslo is that you make probably every couple of days, especially because you're feeding so many people, you make a fresh loaf of bread. Nothing is store-bought with your bread recipe. So why don't you explain to the masses why this bread recipe is better for you, healthier for you than the bread that we get at the store here?
Yeah. Fiber, that's most important thing. And I know you say proteins, But
We are on a big protein kick
yeah,
right
I
now.
mean that's been going on for a long time. But what's really deficit for Americans and also for some Norwegians, if you're not watching what you eat, is fiber. It's very important to have a healthy digestion system, and a lot of the vitamins they get lost. The natural vitamins I'm talking about, not the added ones.
Yeah.
They get lost when you only eating wheat, fine wheat bread. I think that the big issue here is a hyper-processed food. The food industry wants you to keep on eating that hyper-processed food with a lots of sugar and fat, very little fiber in it. And then, of course, you get this problem with obesity, not nutrition enough food to be a healthy person. And maybe that's the bigger issue if you have whole food, if you use whole food instead of hyper-processed food, you'll get much more of what you need.
You told me a story about the kids that dumbfounded me because broccoli is a very natural, from the earth vegetable to eat as a side for a dinner. And I think the first time you came down to Florida and you went to, we'll call it a very magical theme park. Tell me about that experience taking those kids to eat all the great American food at the theme park.
When we are here, we think it's harder to eat healthy. We talked about hyper-processed food and snacks. It's a lot more snacks variants and what do you call it? Fast food.
Yeah. Our fast food is an epidemic, and that's my personal biased opinion.
We got to this restaurant in the amusement park, and they had steamed broccoli on the menu. And my kids, they were so happy because they had so much American fast food style
Fried food, all the
Right,
sugary
yes.
fried food during the day at the
Yeah,
park.
so steamed broccoli, let's get it.
Which said no kid in the United States ever is like excited for broccoli.
We started out when they were babies,
Yeah.
and we gave them broccoli, and they were eating the broccoli, so they get used to eating broccoli from they were kids.
You develop their palates when they're
Right,
young to
right.
crave and want
Yeah.
fish and broccoli.
Yeah. So when we got kids, we like fine-tuned what we ate because we want to have healthy kids.
Mhm.
So we gave them only the healthy stuff. And Leander, he didn't even like when he was in birthday parties, gave him soda pop, and he couldn't drink it because he didn't like it. Too sweet, and the bubbles up his nose. Oh, it's tickling in my mouth.
Would he at least eat the cake?
The cake he could eat if it was homemade. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they
Yeah.
were happy at dinner at the
Yeah.
theme park. They got broccoli.
Yeah, they got broccoli, and then they started eating it, and they started to cry. What's happening now? And then we tasted the broccoli, and it was this sweet, sugary taste. Excuse me, we sent it out. Can we have some regular broccoli? We don't want sugar on kids' broccoli. And the waiter came back. Sorry, all our broccoli is treated with corn syrup. Yeah.
That's wild to me. When
It
you told me
is.
that story, even to get our kids over here to eat their vegetables, we're putting processed sugar on them.
You got that sweet tooth. I mean, everything has to be sweet, and I think also this has to do with the bread. I want to make the bread on my own because then I'm sure what type of whole rye is in it, whole wheat, and only what I want
Yeah.
to eat.
And you do put some sugar in your bread.
Yeah, to make the yeast rise,
Yeah.
it's a little bit of sugar and salt, of course.
Uh-huh.
You need that. But when you have that much fiber, you will stay full for much longer. And then you want to eat some chocolate bar or whatever. It's so easy to get here. You had a cookie bar on the in the kitchen bar. You had a cookie jar. Do you
A
remember
cookie
that?
jar.
Cookie jar with
Oh.
it's a dog or something. It was really a huge.
When I was little.
Yeah?
Oh,
You remember
God.
that?
Yeah, it was
You
a
always,
Dalmatian.
Cookie mom, cookie mom. He always said that. And even right before dinner, cookie mom. Yes, okay. No, do that.
Yeah, I forgot about that cookie jar.
It was a white big dog.
Yeah, it was a Dalmatian cookie jar.
But I mean, that's because you were hungry. I mean, You didn't have that fiber, so you got hungry very quick.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a cookie there. Okay, give it to me. And then you get that sweet tooth, more and more sugar, more and more fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and eat more and more unhealthy things.
And my body reacts to carbohydrates. I don't know if it's just like hormonally and my age and everything, but if I were to eat as much bread as you guys, I would gain so much weight so quickly. On that note, with your bread, when we came back from Norway visiting, we started making your recipe. Because when we were in Norway,
What do you call it again?
brother's bread.
Oh, great.
How do you say it in Norwegian? Bror bread?
Brors brød.
Bror's bread.
Right.
I'll practice. You eat what, 4 pieces of
Minimum 4 slices. Yeah.
Your bread every
Yes.
day. We got used to that eating with you for 2 weeks in Norway, and it was great. So I made your bread here and started eating it like we normally do. It's a little more coarse. We started gaining weight on your exact recipe, but with our ingredients, and it's because of our wheat. When I was eating bread over there, I felt like comfortably full, like I ate a good meal because we were eating it, you know, combined with veggies and fish and everything else. When I was eating your recipe I made with United States ingredients, and I was just bloated feeling.
Because I always bring flour from Norway when I come here because it's so hard to get the right quality of
Flour.
Of the flour. It's more fine grained, much more fine grained, and I don't know if they
Ours is more fine grained?
Yes, I don't know if they take away more of the, what you call the outside of
The husk of the grain.
I think maybe more of the husk is removed here.
Okay, so they can break it down.
Yeah, and the
finer.
husk is, that's what vitamins and fiber is in the husk. So if they remove that, you may have that result.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's possible to get the flour if you special order it. We had a look at the internet yesterday, and it seems like it's possible
You can order the Norwegian flour.
Norwegian and Swedish type.
How often do you look at labels in Norway? Food labels.
I don't look at food labels very often. Then again, I don't shop very much hyper processed food. So if it's like whole type of food,
like olive oil, is anything in a
there's no food label on a tomato.
Smart Alec. But you still cook with olive oil. You still get seeds that probably come in, like your sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds in a bag.
Yeah.
Are you looking at those bag labels or what the olive oil is made out, you know, where it's made at? Do you look at any of that?
Hardly, because the regulations are very strict, and we have a lot of trust in our government, so they won't really let anyone sell anything that's unhealthy. It was an issue with the fat a few years ago. What's the name of that fat that's really dangerous?
Trans fat?
Trans fat, yeah. It was an issue with trans fat some years ago when they found out that some of the hyper-processed cookies and cake mix and that sort of stuff that it had trans fat in it, and immediately the government changed it so trans fat wasn't allowed
to be in your processed foods.
To be in the processed food because that's dangerous for the heart and blood circulation.
Even though I eat tomatoes too, and I know that they don't have a label, but we still have to buy some of our foods that have been through a process. My big problem is we are inundated with so many options. We are a country of abundance. We have 50 types of olive oils, for example. I was getting so defeated trying to pick out, well, which olive oil is real olive oil. Because there's some that are, kind of olive oil, and some that are 20% olive oil, and some that are mixed with another oil, and some are cheap and some are expensive. And so I've got an app that has helped. I can take a picture of the processed foods or the aisle foods, we'll say, of ingredients that if I need like canned tomatoes, for example, for salsa, or Candied jalapenos is our kind of our treat. We have to look at the labels, and so I'm now trained, and it's a constant to be looking at added sugar, trans fats, and you're just set up for defeat before you even try to start a health journey.
But I suppose it's possible to do some research about which of the products you want to go for that are clean and not with additives and everything.
Yeah,
But you can find them and then stick to them.
once we find something that we like, then it's a lot easier. We take out the guesswork. We streamline and simplify.
The candy, yeah, we shouldn't mention any names, but
Yeah.
we found out that the Red 40 and
The dyes.
in EU, they are connected to allergies and to ADHD and bad behavior amongst children.
We're becoming aware of that in the United States, and they're in the process of making good changes, which is fantastic. And we all just feel so set up for defeat, which is why we're having this cultural conversation over wellness, that it's naturally built into your daily movement. It's naturally built into trust of your food and the way you guys eat. And even fish. You told me about the salmon was so pink here.
Yeah, I tried to get some salmon here, like smoked salmon. And I was like you, lot of options. And one was called Atlantic salmon. And also it looked red, nice color. And when I took it home, I found out that both the plastic was a little bit red to make it look redder.
Tinted
plastic.
Oh, okay.
And also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that it was also added the color to the meat itself. So
Wow.
that was a failure, because if it's not
Pure salmon.
yeah, and the color is not good from start, the product is so very low quality.
Yes.
And then I add these things that are unhealthy for you and try to fool you with the tinted plastic on top. I wouldn't eat that.
So now I'll re-ask the question, because you do have a house in the United States and you spend some time over here. When you come to visit from Norway, what are you looking for? What do you have to, subtle changes do you have to actively make over here in order to best align with your practices and the way you live in Norway?
We do a lot of home cooking in Florida. We don't go out to eat very often.
But you're taking me out to eat tonight, though, right?
Right, of course, yeah. But then we're gonna do it the Norwegian way.
Okay. So
because when we're here, we order like a portion of food that's for 2 persons. Because the portion size here is double or triple than the portion size at Norwegian restaurants.
So tonight you're taking us to try, what is it? Peruvian food?
Yeah.
And we won't all order our own. We'll order the Norwegian way, which is not just ordering our own whole meals. We'll split it and create kind of a family style
Right.
sit down, which will be great. What else do you change or have to be mindful of in the US?
The sugar, the sugar tooth. I mean,
the sweet tooth?
Sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
do you develop
you
the sweet tooth when you come here?
Yeah, I can do that. Soda, for instance. So easy to drink a soda here. And you go to the restaurants, you go to family restaurants, they have this. It's almost free to buy
soda fountain drinks and all of that. Yeah.
Right.
Do you guys not serve like Coke and Pepsi and things?
Yeah, there's only one small bottle, and then you have to buy another one for a high price.
Oh, so the refill thing, like you get free refills.
Right.
Yeah.
So I stick to order. Yeah.
We stopped at a cafe after biking and walking on the beach, and our waiter yesterday was trying to sell us bottled water, and you weren't having it. Why?
Right.
So you got mad.
Yeah, because we asked specifically for tap water.
Yeah, we all ask for tap water.
So I know that the quality here is good in Pompano.
Yeah.
I know there has been issues with lead pipes and everything.
But you have actually looked at the stats for the areas that you visit in the U.S. as to the water
Right.
quality.
Right.
Okay.
And here, the water is good. It's good water in the tap.
Is there a common website, or how do you go about looking up the water quality for a location?
It's in the city.
Like the city website?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we asked for tap water, and this guy who said he was from Hungary started telling us that the water quality here in Pompano is not good, so he would recommend bottled water, which I know is not true. And then we said, no, we want tap water. And then he came back.
Brought bottled water anyway.
So you have to be more strict there, because they will always try to sell,
Upcharge, upsell.
upcharge,
Yeah.
right?
Speaking of bottled water, our eyes are being opened pretty widely right now in the U.S. about how microplastics mimic hormones in the body. We're trying to mindfully make subtle changes in our homes to, instead of using baggies, we are using glass containers for leftover storage. We're no longer buying bottled water out on the road. We're actually
Right.
bringing our metal containers.
Yep.
Are being aware of microplastics or drinking out of
yes.
bottles a big deal or not?
Very much, yeah.
In Norway?
For me, it is.
Yeah.
That's also why I didn't want us to drink bottled water yesterday, because of the microplastic. And you get it from everywhere. Talking about plastic bags, that's so funny how you have free plastic bags here, and they're very poor quality, but they just give away maybe 20-30 plastic bags.
Oh, at the stores?
Yes. And in Norway now, they charge you $1 per bag.
Per plastic bag?
Yes, because you're not supposed to use plastic bags at all. So
Do they offer a paper option, or are you required to bring your own bags?
they can sell you
Like a cloth bag, like a
Cloth bag.
reusable bag.
So if you forgot to bring it back, it's your problem. Then you have to buy either a new cloth bag or a
Throw your money away for a
plastic bag for $1.
I think in, what is it, Colorado, all of the state of Colorado, I'm pretty sure at this point, you have to bring it's like BYOB, bring your own bag.
Yeah.
Slowing down in life is also something I think I learned in Norway. And I'll probably butcher it, but I'll try to say it as utpatu aldresu, out on a trip and never
Nice.
angry. Is that good?
Ut på tur, aldri sur.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite sayings, and whenever I'm traveling for work on flying places and stuff, or out fly fishing and all that, I always just say it because it just makes me feel good, and it brings me back to the moment of slowing down and being mindful. The true feeling of actively being mindful in everything I do, down to the simplicity of going grocery shopping, creating my list, knowing what brands are the healthy brands I want to buy for that day, remembering my bags so I don't have to waste with plastic. There's a quip over here calling people crunchy or granola. You're just all organic. That's not realistic for some. The purpose of this show even is to learn the tactical information to create practical tools that fit and implement into your daily lifestyle. Ultimately, what I want our listeners to get from this episode in particular, which has been so special for you to be here with me and discuss our cultural differences, is I want to talk about borrowable defaults. This conversational goal is to stop overcomplicating wellness. We already have to look at labels for our food. We have to actively join gym memberships. We have to be so mindful about our meal prep. It becomes exhausting. What I would like to do is implement things that can be more seamless. All these stories you've told me in Norway, and the way that I watched you guys live, visiting for 2 straight weeks, it was all built in. It was all built into your community. It was built into your commutes to and from work. It's built in from the ground up how you raise your children. It's built into your food habits, your choices. Even, dare I say, limitations is actually kind of a blessing because of the strictness that your government does put on food. It's better for you overall, for your health. What are some habits we can borrow without fully changing our lives over here that we can implement on the daily?
We have been talking quite extensively about food. I think that start buying more whole products and never anything hyper processed. Need some fish, some vegetables, some potatoes, sweet potatoes. But it's also an element of cost in this, and I've noticed how the prices here have skyrocketed lately, especially the groceries. And to buy enough of fruit and vegetables to have the fiber that you
Is
need.
expensive.
Yeah, and I think that will be hard for the salary that regular people make. So that's, again, I want people to eat better bread, more bread, and take control of the bread themselves by making it
Slowing
themselves.
down and starting to make their own bread.
Yeah.
Stop eating this ultra
And it's
processed
so
bread.
easy to make your own bread because you do it before you go to bed. It needs to raise for at least 8 hours. And you put it in the oven before you go to bed, and almost all ovens have a timer function, so you can start it about 2 hours before you get up.
Yeah.
And it sits for 1 hour in the oven, and it sits for 1 hour to just cool down, and then it's ready when you
For
get up.
breakfast.
Ready for breakfast, yes. And it's fresh, and it's still a little
So
hot
good.
and a little warm, and
We will link probably in the show notes, and one day in a future cookbook, we will have my brother's bread recipe from Norway.
So
Shoot.
then you start your day in a very good way because you need some quality food that's not too expensive to get you going for a long time. And then secondly, it's important to have some sort of exercise before you go to work. So I don't know if it's possible to walk or bike, but
If you can.
maybe you can try it out a little bit. Or even what I like to do if the weather is really, really bad, I find a staircase in some high-rise building and do my exercise like interval training, high intensity training. The stairs, why use the lift or the escalator if it's a working staircase?
Yeah. I've saved up for years, but I finally got a new car. And now I'm that old lady that is so scared someone's going to ding my car. I will park the farthest parking spot away.
Yeah.
A, so nobody hurts my new baby, and B, so
I do
can
the same thing.
so you are, with all your Teslas. Yeah.
Yeah, they have cameras all over, so we'll find out if
You'll
they did
know
it.
someone
Yeah.
touches your car. We can talk a little bit about daylight. Yesterday morning, we got up and you guys immediately went outside and you're like, we need the sun in our eyes because you guys have polar night right now in Norway. So vitamin D, you guys have to eat more foods to get vitamin D.
Yeah.
You have to possibly take supplements if you are D deficient. So getting vitamin D, just getting the sun in your eyes first thing in the morning is a great way to get vitamin D.
Yeah. And cod liver oil. You do that? Don't you take cod liver oil?
Yeah, I take a fish oil.
Fish oil.
Yeah, it is from Norway. I didn't choose it just because my brother lives there, but Norwegian
You did, of course
fish
you did,
oil.
yes. I know you did.
It's a Norwegian fish oil, and it's in like a dark, opaque glass bottle because that fish oil can spoil. And you want to make sure it smells proper. You keep it in a cool, dry place. I personally, I don't eat enough fish. I live in Texas. I love a good steak. I eat more red meat than I probably should. We're big on steak and chicken. We don't nearly eat as much fish as you guys. So thus, I take a fish oil supplement to try to get my cod liver oil, whatever, and my vitamins.
But we were talking about some people, they are taking a lot of supplements here. Even some of the food has added vitamins in it. Flour, for instance, has added vitamins here. So then it's very easy to lose control over how much vitamin you get.
So if we're eating too many and then we're taking supplements on top of that,
Some of the vitamins are getting poisonous if you take too much vitamin D.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary, I think, when you take so many supplements
Yeah.
and you don't know exactly what's in it.
Which is why I choose to get like private labs to my blood drawn so I know what's in my system and then I know what I need to supplement. So for example, I'm actually getting my labs drawn twice a year, January and June. The labs will divulge what you're deficient in, and the goal is to get it from food first and then reintroduce the supplements that are necessary to take.
Yeah, okay.
Or we're quick to jump to the supplement instead of actually trying food first, researching what foods we need to eat to get those, which I thought was really interesting about your doctor's visits. Your doctors are more apt to adjust your diet for a couple months before they will prescribe anything for you when you're ill in some capacity.
Right. They always tell you to wait for a week and come back if you're not better. You won't get any medicine unless it's life-threatening.
Right.
It's kind of annoying sometimes, but in the long run, probably the human body is the best to repair itself if you give it time and rest. But it's a heavy pressure here. That's what I'm noticing when I'm here. The pressure as a consumer is so heavy and intense all the time. And you can't even watch the news on the TV because you have this commercial break all the time. And they turn the sound up and they're like really intruding. You never, you always have to buy something that you don't need. Let's first take Norway. The commercial breaks are not that intrusive at all. The commercials are not that often either.
So maybe another borrowable default that we can take away is we're mindful of what we consume in our bodies, like with food. We need to be more mindful of what we're consuming visually and audibly in our brains. So
what I haven't talked about is the car key example, or
yeah, this weekend is a beautiful prime example. The AWA collective team and we chose as a trio to come to Pompano Beach for an AWA retreats kind of weekend. And it's a beautiful prime example of US defaults versus Norway defaults. And you were going to take us to the beach. And we talked that you were like, oh, we have a bunch of bikes and scooters and blah, blah, blah. We're getting our shoes on and I have the keys in my hand. And you're like, what's in your hands? And I was like, well, we're going to the beach. And you're like, with what car? And so
didn't we talk about this? We were biking.
Right. But then Amanda was like, oh, you want to take the Tesla? We have to move our car to get to your car. And you're like, we're not taking a car. We're biking to the beach. So
it's your mindset.
Yeah.
It's always car.
Changing the mindset is hard.
Because in Norway, it's much more common to walk if it's, say, less than a mile. And, the beach here is less than a mile.
Yeah.
So and also it's a nice area to walk or bicycle.
If you can try to normalize a different way of commuting, try it. Just try it. And then if it's dangerous or too much, that's okay. You can implement movement in another way. If you're in a big city working in an office building, then stairs.
And we discovered a lot of other things that we wouldn't have been seeing or experiencing from a car. The birds, the sound of the birds.
The parrots, there was a huge flock of parrots that were migrating.
Right.
And they stop here once a year to rest. And we saw these beautiful green parrots with red beaks just squawking at each other. We never would have seen that if we drove.
And the smells, the scents, the weather, the climate. We met a cat, and all these small important things that makes you slow down and
stop and smell the roses, as we would say. Yeah.
Or Jamie Peterson, he has his 12 rules. I think they're kind of neat. And the 12th rule is if you see a cat, stop and pet it, because gets you like grounded and sets your mind on
Recentered
more,
to the present.
yes,
Yeah.
more important things and your stress and your daily problems. Mindfulness, mindlessness. Yeah, yes. So maybe you should do something with the car keys, make them harder to get to something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
So my favorite pastor, one of her sayings is, where the mind goes, the man follows.
Mm,
And when your mind is constantly on driving, that's where you go, is
mm,
to the keys. But if you can change, the easiest way to break a habit is to replace it with another one. And the first 90 days to create that habit, you have to be mindful of it before it becomes mindless
yeah.
to do. When you visited us in Texas, we would always walk after dinner. And Blaine was like, "That's just such a weird thing. Like, I'm full. I'm happy. I'm tired." And I'm like, "That's the purpose of walking."
Mm.
So I got to stop picking on Blaine. We're doing fantastic in our wellness journey. But it's because we are having conversations like this and being open to cultural differences, debates, even if we have to, because that's how you learn
But
and grow.
to walk after you have eaten is very important for
Digestion.
yeah, but also for your heart and your blood system, everything. There is a study now in Norway. They have also been using American participants, and only if you walk 15 minutes more a day, your life expectancy may rise up to 11 years.
No way. 15 minutes a day
Yeah, 11.
increases your life expectancy
Yes,
11 years.
11 years. Yeah.
Well, I think
So
we should go for a walk after this.
yeah, let's do that. But I mean, walking is the first thing a small child is doing. He starts walking and exploring the environment, and it's also the last thing you should do as an old person, to keep on walking. It's
Keep
very
moving.
important. And if you do the stairs on top of it,
Even better for your
even
joints.
better.
So 10-minute walk or 15-minute walks after meals, daily outdoor light, if you can get sun in your eyes first.
Right.
Just walking outside, the fresh air for me in the mornings is what wakes me up. Simpler plates with fewer ingredients. Protecting your sleep and your rest is a non-negotiable. It's important just as much as movement. It's equally as important to rest.
When you're aging, it's more important that you can't really exercise, or you shouldn't really exercise that hard after, say, 6 or 7
In the
evening.
evening,
Yeah,
because it'll keep you awake.
it will influence your sleep quality.
So
But
trying to
when
get
I was younger, I never thought of it, and I don't think it was a problem. But I think this is something to be aware of.
Yeah, I prefer to work out in the mornings. If I work out before bed, I can do yoga or meditation, or even a walk before bed. If I choose to do like my boot camp classes in the evening, I do find myself having a much harder time falling asleep because my endorphins are up.
But another thing that's very different in Norway is the tradition of being out in nature, exercising, or it's not actually exercising, it's just doing something together.
Which is your
Usually-
Sunday ritual.
Yeah, that's a Sunday ritual.
We go to church, your church is nature.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Many families have a cabin in the mountains that they go to during the weekends. And of course, they go skiing or hiking in the mountains when they're there. But if they're not going, there's a lot of places not far from where people live, which I think you would call nature reserves.
Yeah,
skiing.
we have good national park. Blaine and I like to find national parks to go hiking and exploring with our dogs and stuff. We don't get to do that every week.
Right. But that's a tradition in Norway, and that's different. That's what we use our Sundays for.
With your family.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people want the shops to be open on Sundays. Then the people say, "Oh, what about the Sunday trips? People can't go to their Sunday trips, so the shops will be closed in the future." It seems like that it's almost a holy thing to Sunday. Go on a Sunday trip.
Slowing down.
Yeah, and you bring some packed lunch. Again, you're not eating out. You're bringing packed lunch out in nature.
Because the restaurants are closed on Sundays. All right, so a lot of habits we can borrow from the Norwegian culture that if we work at it and tailor it to your regional location, looks different everywhere. Texas, I might not be walking to work or biking to my job, but we do have access to some great parks. Everywhere has parks. There's little inland lakes. And then our food choices, if we're active at keeping our food choices simplified, and then our rest as a non-negotiable. I think our daily lives could be seamlessly better after actively putting some Norwegian culture into our American ways.
And stop let that consumer culture influence you so heavily.
We're going to de-influence the influential culture.
Yeah.
Is what we need to do.
Can you skip the commercials on the TV?
I will mute them when they're on because they are so loud.
Yeah.
I will pay for no ads. And I think in the long run, as Sarah behind the scenes said, you actually save money by paying more for the no ad version because you're not watching the ads to consume whatever they're trying to sell you. Yeah. So girl math is a win-win. Well, I can't thank you enough, Kenneth. I know this was obviously a very special interview for me, and I get to share my big brother with the world because even at almost 40, my big brother's still teaching me amazing things. And at the end of each show, we do like to ask our guests a very simple question. The answer can be big or small. What are you currently going all in on?
Actually, I'm currently going all in on chin-ups because I had a frozen shoulder, and now it's getting better. And we have this internal competition at my work. So in June, we're gonna run 2 miles. We're gonna do chin-ups. We're gonna do plank for several minutes, jump from 10 meters.
So you're going all in on chin-ups?
Yeah. Because I haven't been able to do chin-ups for a long time, and now this competition, so I'm gonna start trying to do it again, see if the shoulders can hold it.
Loosen it up. You and me and our frozen shoulders together. We are kin.
Yeah. And I'm not a pilot, so that's not the reason for me having it.
I'm glad I got to hang out with my big brother this weekend, so I can become a little more like him in his Norwegian ways. I love you. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the All in Wellness Approach. If the show resonates with you, please rate, review, and subscribe. It helps us reach more people who are ready to live all in. Join the collective on Instagram at AWA Podcast. That's at AIWA Podcast for tools, insights, and inspiration, and catch every full episode on YouTube. Your support fuels this mission and keeps the collective moving all in. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not intended as medical, psychological, or professional advice. Always consult your doctor before changing your lifestyle.